Good afternoon, everyone. I want to go ahead and get our agenda meeting started for April 26th. This is our opportunity to set the agenda for our meeting that is upcoming on May 3rd, and we've got a lot of activity going on today, and so board members, I'm going to ask you to be brief as possible as we go through the consent agenda. We're going to try and get out of here by 4:45 so that we can go over and listen to the presentation, the public meeting that the Highway Department is having over at the Wyndham in North Little Rock concerning the I-30 corridor. So with that said, we have a couple of presentations. We got the 6A boys basketball state champions here with us. We're happy to have the Parkview Arts and Science High School basketball team with us, winners this year. And Mr. Moore, who's going to be making this presentation?
We have Ward 6 Director, Doris Wright.
All right, Doris, if you would, please. Thank you.
I want to say good afternoon to everyone, our viewing audience. It gives me great pride to make this presentation. As some of you know, most of you I hope know, that Parkview Arts and Science Magnet School is located on John Barrow Road, which is, of course, Ward 6. So I am extremely proud of this school, all that it has accomplished, and of these young men. With that being said, on March 12, 2016, the Parkview Patriots won the 6A Boys Basketball State Championship in Hot Springs, Arkansas. They defeated Pine Bluff by a score of 69-64 in overtime to cap off a season with 27 wins and only 3 losses. This was the Patriots' lucky 13th state basketball championship and the 4th in the last 6 seasons. At halftime, Parkview trailed Pine Bluff by 10 points. But the Patriots had an explosive second half and ended regulation play in a 57-57 tie. Parkview dominated the overtime, clinching the game and the state championship. The team leaders in the championship game were Khalil Garland with 20 points, Ryan Pippins with 19 points, and Javon Franklin with 7 points and 15 rebounds. To get to the championship game, Parkview had an opening round bye and then defeated Siloam Springs and Jonesboro. Khalil Garland was named the tournament MVP for 6A. He and Ryan Pippins and Javon Franklin were named to the all-tournament team. The trio were also each named in 2016 All-State Basketball. The Patriots are coached by coaching legend Al Flanagan. Dr. Dexter Booth is the principal of Parkview, and John Daniels is the director of athletics for the Little Rock School District. Superintendent Baker Curris is out of town on a previously scheduled obligation. Deputy Superintendent Marvin Burton is here this afternoon representing the Little Rock School District Administration. Board members, I proudly present the Parkview Patriots. I'd like to ask Coach Flanagan if he would come up.
Welcome, Coach.
Coach Flanagan, as your ward representative on the Little Rock Board of Directors, it gives me great pleasure to present to you and the team this plaque on behalf of the board and Mayor Mark Stoller.
It's an honor.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I want to give all honor to God, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Director, board members. It's a pleasure to be down here. When you get here, it means you've done something special. And these guys, they really been special. Matter of fact, I went out on a limb this year and said, you guys that know me know I've been around here for some time, 40-something years. And this is the best group that I've had defensively since I've been at Parkview. And that's saying a lot now. That's saying a lot. Hey, they did everything I asked of them, and we got the job done. I just want to speak about my senior, the only senior I got, Ryan Pippin. Man, I was hard on him because he's a extension of me to the floor with the players. And in the last 3 years, he hadn't been afraid to get on people. And that's been a good thing. It's been a positive way. And we rode his back all the way to championship. And I just want to thank him from the bottom of my heart. He's been the only senior. And Khalil Garland, He probably one of the best downhill players that we have around here. He got the ability to be special, and he proved that by taking over in the championship. And the game changer, Javon Franklin. If he make up his mind and come do what he need to do every day, man, he'd be the best player around. He can jump out the gym. And all these other guys, go right down the line, CJ, all these guys, my two big sophomores, here come one coming in here, Ethan Henderson, and other big man here, Caleb Stoke. These guys, hey, they give me everything I asked for, along with Rod, Lil Maury. But this is a great group of guys, and we're going to miss Pip. But I guarantee you, hey, somebody will step up and we'll be right back for that thing again. Thank you.
Coach, did you introduce all of them, or?
Stand up and come and
Yeah.
introduce themselves along with Superintendent Burton. I'll let them introduce themselves. Okay. Yeah.
I'm Spencer McElway. I'm a junior, class of 2017.
McElway. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Alan Flanagan, freshman, class of 2019.
Jaden Randall, sophomore, class of 2018.
Caleb Stokes, class of 2018. Khalil Garland, 2017 junior.
Ryan Pippin, senior, 2016.
Tell them where you're going to school.
I'll be attending ULR for basketball.
Very good.
I will be
Playing for
attending-
Coach Flanagan, right?
Yes, sir.
Can't
I will
get
be
away
attending
from
Little
it.
Rock. Yes, sir.
All right.
My name is Javon Franklin, 2017. I'm going to be continuing Kentucky University.
Curtis White Jr., 2018.
Ethan Henderson, class of 18.
Amari Farr, class of 2018, sophomore.
Right here, right
Rod Terry, class of 2018.
Hey, Rod, wait a minute, before you leave. Now, I think your mama, Starla Frazier, is my office assistant, isn't she? Is she doing a good job? She's doing a good job for me. All right.
Good afternoon, Mayor Stoller, Board of Directors. My name is Marvin Burton. I'm the Deputy Superintendent of Little Rock School District. On behalf of Mr. Kurth and Little Rock School District, we just want to recognize and thank the outstanding work that Coach Flanagan, Dr. Booth, Mr. Daniels, and these outstanding students have put forth today. It's a true culmination to an outstanding and a winning season. They're very, very deserving of it, and they work really hard. It was a very hard and difficult task to overcome the deficit in which they did. And to me, this team described, like Coach Flanagan said, defense, but they persevered. They did not give up, and so that's why we're here today. And you just want to acknowledge them and their parents, because all these different practices and things of that nature, the parents were definitely behind them and supporting, and the school and the district. We plan to bring championships each year, but most importantly, they're student athletes, and that's the most important part of the whole equation.
Thank
If their
you.
parents
Thank
are
you,
here, I would
Mr.
like to
Burton.
recognize any of their parents. I know
Any
you
parents?
called out one, at least one parent.
Y'all come in the door.
I just want to say congratulations to the boys. They worked very hard, and I appreciate you being hard on them. So I think it helps them out in the long run. So I just want to say congratulations and good job.
I'd like to echo what she said. Yes, congratulations to Coach Flanagan. Stay on them. And I think I missed one game this season. I traveled with the team and missed one game.
Thank you.
Had a great time.
I'd like my coaches to introduce themselves.
I'm Nathan Claiborne, assistant coach.
Champ Watson, 8 years with Coach Flanagan.
How you all doing? Thank you. Nick Anderson, assistant coach as well.
Coach Flanagan, thank you so much for obviously instilling a great discipline in them that not only makes them winning on the court, but makes them winning in the classroom. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, the next presentation is a presentation, as board members, as you know, when the I-30 crossing matter came up before us, the city elected to hire our independent consultants to give us advice, and they are here to give a brief update on what they've been doing since they were retained. So let me call on the Nelson Nygaard team, if you'll come forward, please.
Thank you. My name is Paul Moore. I'm with Nelson Nygaard Consulting Associates. Also here is my co-consultant, Scott Polikoff from Gateway Planning. The process that we've been engaged in is pretty simple. You see a slide. It's 4 basic steps. The discover phase, where we were gathering all of the previous plans and information and studies and all of the information that we could pull in. A discussion phase that we engaged in last month where we talked to as many people as we could over a couple days' time. That included neighborhood representatives, the Chamber and the Downtown Partnership, some of the institutions like the Clinton Foundation and Heifer, Studio Maine, AHTD, Metro Plan, others that I'm not mentioning. The desire phase is when we are going to gather together some of that information, put together some frameworks, some best practices in a white paper that in the next couple of weeks that we will share with you guys, leading up to a work session with the council to talk about what opportunities and what options that we might have to have downtown best served by the 30 Crossing project. Our main role is to be your representative and to give a critical eye to what's being proposed by AHTD to make sure that the assets of downtown are preserved and enhanced with whatever is built. So again, we'll be advising you on sort of what some of the existing conditions are, some future needs, what the current proposals are on the table from AHTD, and how the city might best respond to those proposals to make sure its interests and downtown's interests are served. Once we've had that work session, we'll take the outcome of that, document that in a memorandum that can also hopefully be a response to the AHTD comment period that's ending on June 10th. You can see underneath there the project schedule. So this is a quick project. We're about halfway through it, March, April, and May. And so, as I mentioned, next month, we're planning to have that work session with you and be able to get that memorandum and that letter into AHDT before the June 10th deadline. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about what the scope of work. We haven't done a whole lot of that work yet other than have some of this discussions and pull in some of the data. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you, Paul. Are there any questions for Mr. Moore or Mr. Polikoff? I think just for the public's knowledge, you all have talked with each one of the board members, I think, as well, or at least made attempts to talk to every one of the board members, and will continue to do so if you have any comments or questions. So that's part of the process. And so I guess I want to say to any of the board members now, if you've got any questions now, they're here obviously to receive and to see what the Highway Department is going to be presenting this afternoon at the Highway Department's public hearing, and to take that back and then to get a critical eye to that and a review to it to give us recommendations as this process continues. So. If there are no questions, thank you, Paul, and we'll see you across the way.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Okay, board members, you'll note that the other items are all presentations for May 3rd. We can move on to the consent agenda. First of all, we have a modification page for an addition and a deferral, and if there's no objection, we'll add the resolution to the consent agenda and note the deferral of item 33. Any objection? No. All right, we can move forward then on to the consent agenda, items 1 through 15. Are there any questions on items 1 through 15? Let me ask Mr. Moore just to go forward and give a little bit of an update on resolution number 4.
Mayor, members of the board, as you all are aware, a few weeks ago at one of your sessions that we adopted a resolution stating it was the city's intent to prepare an open data policy for the city of Little Rock. We have, in working with our governance committee and our information technology staff and our city attorney's office, put together that policy. I think it's comprehensive. I think that we will be a better organization as a result of the adoption. And I think from a transparency standpoint and from connecting with our citizens, this is really pointing us in the right track. So I'm very excited about bringing this forward to the board for adoption next Tuesday.
Director Adcock, do you have a question, please?
I have a question on item 8, please.
Okay, before we do that, Bruce, on item 4, do I understand that you gave us an update on this, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, but in anticipation of this resolution, where there were 6 data sets, are we now up to 20 data sets? Am I correct in my understanding of that?
36.
36 data sets.
Correct.
It would be great if you could, whenever you have the opportunity, just to tell or give the board an update on what the categories of those are, so that if we want to look around on them, that we can certainly do that, because we know the public will be doing the same.
Will do.
Okay, great, thank you. Yes, Director Adcock, you wanted item which?
Item 8.
Item 8, okay.
Mr. Moore, I know that the AMP Commission takes care of the operations of the River Market. Do they not repair the buildings and do maintenance too?
Director Adcock, this is part of the agreement on our parking meter in the River Market, that that parking meter revenue actually goes for maintenance and repairs of the River Market facility. So this is not city general fund, but actually the River Market Capital Fund. It's paid through parking meter revenue.
Okay, thank you.
Director Wright, you're recognized, please.
Presentation on number 4, or just a question, really. Where is this funding coming from, Mr. Moore?
Director Wright, there's really no funding associated with this. As I mentioned, we have a governance task force that I put together that will be working on the data sets and getting the information out. We have a lot of data that's already available on our website. This is just getting it into a format that is usable for our citizenry and more understandable. For instance, you can go to our website right now, and the 2016 budget's on there, but it's a PDF file, and all you can do is look at it by department. With this open data, and we're not there yet, but you're going to actually be able to get into our budget, look at the numbers, manipulate the numbers, and so that's what this ultimately helps us do.
When you say manipulate the numbers,
you're not going to be able to change the numbers, but you're going to be able to look at eventually. Again, we're not there yet. This is the first step of going in this direction. But really be able to take our numbers and look. For instance, we have 572 sworn officers. What is the cost of those officers? And right now, that's not in the budget document per se.
okay, thank you for that clarification. I think our citizens will like that. Then on resolution number 5, where are those funds coming from? Is that a grant, or is this out of our general fund, or is this
Parks and
private
Recreation
funds?
monies.
Treatment.
Thank you. Director Wright, these funds, $60,000 is being appropriated from the city's grant fund, $60,000 from the Big Dam Bridge Foundation, $120,000 from the Bureau of Outdoor Recreation grant through the
Okay.
state.
All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on items 1 through 15? All right, hearing none, we'll move to the planning and development items, 16 through 31, and let me ask if there's any questions. Yes, Director Adcock.
Mr. Moore, on item 16, how and when do we decide to annex property, and why was this property selected to be annexed?
May I ask Mr. Brzezinski to come forward, Tony?
Then also, Mr. Brzezinski, what impact does this have on the public, the police and the fire in that area?
Director Adcock, Mayor, members of the board. Again, item 16 is annexation of almost 14 acres at Pride Valley in Canis. Annexation process now is initiated by the property owner. They submit the petition for annexation. It first goes through the county judge, and then it's reviewed by the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission did vote in support of the annexation. And then it comes before you for an ordinance to accept the annexation. There were no issues raised through the review process. There's a fire station fairly close to this property, and as you know, Canis Road, there are sections of Canis that are currently in the city limits. There are other parts that are outside of the city limits, so police is already on this part of Canis.
Are the streets and roads already placed in this area?
Yes.
So we're not going to put any infrastructure money that would go to our other neighborhoods into this area as far as infrastructure and drainage?
Any development that takes place, it'd be the responsibility of the property owner, the developer.
Since so much of this is on Canis, are they going to help rebuild or replace Canis?
At the time of development,
Okay, at the time that, and they're not developing it now?
not the Canis frontage.
Okay, but when they start developing that, they will have to put in the infrastructure dollars.
Boundary Street improve ordinance comes into play. Yes, ma'am.
How many property owners does this 13 or 14 acres involve?
Director Adcock, I think it's just one property owner.
Just one property owner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and we always take land when it's asked to be annexed?
Well, it goes through a process, first with the county, then to us, and then we've determined through this review if there's any, if it shouldn't be annexed. But again, this is, as you can see from the graphic in front of you, it's pretty much surrounded by the city at this point.
This white block to the left of this, what is on that property? It says it's in the city limits.
Directly adjacent, that is in the city limit. Oh, that area?
The white area up above.
That's all out, that's not in the city, it's single-family residences.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I also have a question, Mayor, on 18 when we get to that. Mayor, I also have a question on 18 when we get to that.
Okay, I think Vice Mayor Hines has a comment on this particular item. Go ahead, Lance.
Director Adcock, on that particular piece of property, the developer has already made the half street improvements on Pride Valley. As soon as they develop the frontage along Canis, they are committed to doing the half street improvements along that section of Canis as well. So they've already improved a section where the mini storage is. It's the same developer on all of it. He has his offices on Pride Valley. And that was a commitment I think he made to you on Pride Valley in order to get his zoning approved several years ago for the mini storage. So he has done what you asked him to do on that. It's Panther Development, Graham Smith, Brandon Huffman, and I think one other person, but it's Panther Development. Thank you.
Director Wright, you're next, please, and then Director Adcock, if you had another question, if you put your note, hit your button, please.
Mine's on 22.
Go ahead, we'll go on, hit 22,
okay.
and then we'll go back to 18.
Okay, I just got a point of clarification, Mr. Moore. On 22, it says that this is located in Ward 5, and I wanted to know if that was accurate, since I have been advised that Canis is in Ward 6 down to Cooper Orbit. So that corner is not, so why am I putting all this in the, I shouldn't be having to put all this money into Canis.
This is the Lowe's project that's immediately south of Hank's Fine Furniture there.
Yes, Mayor, and it's the northwest corner of Bowman and Canis. And
So everything on that side is Ward 5?
on the north side, yes.
Okay, and everything on the other, okay. Okay, Lance. Gotta
All
make
right,
sure you pay your
Director,
share.
Director Adcock on the item
Tony,
US.
on 18, please. How large is this building that's going to be into elderly housing? Is this the old Job Corps building?
Director Adcock, yes. And before that, Red Carpet Inn.
Okay. And what are they going to do to it, that site?
Well, they're going to renovate it for elderly or age-restricted housing, a total of 77 units, and then make upgrades to the site. Currently, you can see from your graphic, there's another small building footprint that will be removed, and that area will be set aside for like community-type use, picnics and things like that, an outdoor area.
Okay. How much rehabbing are they going to have to do to that larger building, do you know?
Probably quite a bit.
That's what I was thinking, it would be millions to
It's been
rehab
in
something that
disrepair
big.
for a number of years.
Can I address that, since it is our project?
No.
Next week,
Is it for metropolitan housing,
private development.
or is it private development?
Already got financing available. Director Adcock, it's a partnership with Metropolitan Housing Authority and private developers.
Okay, is Metropolitan going to manage it?
I'm not sure, but they'll be here next Tuesday, and we can, I'm not sure the actual structure of it, but they are a partner.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Don't go away, Tony. Bruce, you may want to go ahead and just, since there's a staff down recommendation of denial on 17, explain this. This is the IHOP on the corner of Markham and University that has been there for many, many years, wants to remodel and redevelop, and apparently doesn't meet the setbacks on ingress and egress. Is that correct?
That's correct, and there's an issue with the right turn lane. However, the Midtown Advisory Group did review it and approved it, and also the City Beautiful Commission, because they're not meeting the standards on the landscaping requirements, and they've approved it also. So our main objection is along the right turn lane, since that we feel like that intersection is needed, but we do think it's a good development.
All right. Thank you. Director Kazort.
Well, just commenting on that, Mayor, this is not a piece of property that can be expanded for different development. It is what it is. So, the fact somebody's redeveloping, I think it's a good idea, and I understand the traffic concerns, but they've been there all along, so I don't think we're changing anything.
I'm correct. I think Mr. Moore's given us a direction on this in terms of the other recommendations that were given. Director Wyrick.
I was going to say the same thing that Director Kazort did. They're taking this building to the next level. I mean, they're totally improving the building, the landscaping around it. There was a lot of discussion with the Planning Commission in regards to the lane and the fact that, all those lanes don't match up with each other anyway, and it's been in this shape for a long time. So I think that persuaded the Planning Commission to go forward with this, and I believe that was the only issue, was the lane.
Director Webb?
And just to echo that, I go to the Midtown meetings, and they ask a lot of questions every time, and they were very satisfied. I mean, it's 2 blocks from my house, and I go that way all all the time, and it's a great that she's putting so much money into this.
Director Wright?
My only question is it still going to be an IHOP?
Yes.
It's just renovating the building and taking it up?
Yeah, it.
A whole new building? Oh, that
Whole
sounds
new building.
wonderful.
Well, without objection, we'll leave it in the grouped items. Okay, are there any other questions on these items 16 through 31? Director Adcock, yes.
Item 27, Mr. Moore, I'm just wondering why would there be a requirement there be no exposed metal on a building?
Well, this is one that's been to you all before, and let me ask Mr. Brzezinski to come forward and talk about the commitments that were made when the development was occurred. Tony?
Director Adcock, Mayor, members of the board, this development, item 27, is Cantrell Falls development, and as we know, all know, it has a long history. It's been in front of you many times, and this issue before you now is to revise the plan to amend a requirement that there be no exposed metal on the building on Lot 3, which is in the rear of the property. And that condition was offered by the applicant during the Planning Commission public hearing process. So it was something that they offered, it was accepted, and then they didn't follow through. And now they're trying to amend it to allow on the back side of the building the exposed metal.
And why would there be any question about what the material on the back of a building would be?
Because
Was it next to the neighborhood or?
directly to the north, there's a new single-family development that is in the process of being developed. It's not built out at this point.
And why are you asking for denial?
For what?
Why are you asking for denial?
'Cause again, they offered this, and we felt that it was important to maintain the building's integrity, not just on the front side from Cantrell, but on the rear, which does face a single-family neighborhood. That area that's on the graphic in front of you, that zoned R2, is now a single-family subdivision.
Okay, thank you.
Director Wire, do you have a comment on this one? Or a different one? All right, go ahead, please.
Okay, it's item number 31.
Oh,
You said different one.
that's okay.
That's
Go ahead,
pretty
and we'll
different,
go
right?
back to the next one.
Okay. Tony, item 31, there's a plot plan that's the sketch that's in these documents. I wonder if we can pull that up. So I understand that this is it's a planned residential development, and we're recognizing some existing uses, and then we're adding one single-family resident. What I'm curious to know is, we've got duplexes and we've got a fourplex. We got a fourplex on the first lot and two duplexes, I believe. On these lots, are they able to add additional duplexes or additional fourplexes to these lots? Or are these set for one duplex or one fourplex per lot?
Director Wyrick, what if this application is approved for the planned development, it's, again, not just the use, but the site plan, which that's, if
Okay.
they just come back to want to add some buildings, they would have to revise the approved site plan.
Okay, so what they have there today is what they'll have to have in the future, plus the one single-family residential unit that they're building
Right, on Lot 4.
on Lot 4. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Vice Mayor Hines, did you want to go back to item 27?
Yes, Bruce and Tony, I am not happy about this. And we have a developer who didn't carry through on his word, and I want to know why we didn't catch this through the inspection process with a commitment that was made, especially specifically in the Highway 10 DOD, but what are we going to do in the future to make sure that when a developer makes a specific commitment, whether it's in a DOD or just a special commitment, how are we going to help? Because what got thrown in my face from this developer, and I'm not happy with him, and it'll be a cold day before he gets another vote on any project he's doing where he makes a commitment on. But what are we doing to ensure this doesn't happen again? Because what got thrown in my face was, well, staff didn't catch it. I got a CO and, shame on me. Well, he knew what he was doing, and I just don't understand why this didn't get caught before the CO when we had, this was a very contentious support. I think Director Campiris and I were willing to support this based on commitments he made, but if staff doesn't hold their feet to the fire on the commitments they make, what are we supposed to do? Now they're asking forgiveness on this.
Vice Mayor, that came up during the Planning Commission discussion on this item. I can't, on inspections, the building inspector is looking at building codes issues.
Right.
That it complies, that's meeting all the codes, and they're not necessarily looking so much as at the exterior. I mean, I really don't, we missed it. But
Okay.
the issue is that they submitted a plan that did not comply with what they agreed to do initially.
Well, and the question is, why did that not get caught through the planning process when they're that's, what are we doing to fix it so it doesn't happen again? Because, and I would say even if I remember right, and I'd have to go back to the record, even the front elevation on this building was not built as they told us it was going to be. It was supposed to be residential in nature, and that building does not look residential in nature. It was supposed to comport with the all-around deal. So they got away with 2 on this. So 3? No, at least 2 that I'm counting right now. And I just want to make sure that we've got something in place, because I've got to answer to my constituents out there who don't understand, and they feel like, well, it's just shame on, if you can catch me, shame on me. So how do they know that we're going to be able to hold the developers to their word when they make a commitment in front of this body? And that's my question to you. And if you don't have an answer, I'd like some kind of procedure put in place, Bruce and Tony, to make sure that this doesn't happen again, whether or not it's on when they pull their permit, what their elevations look like, or maybe we need to check it out before we even let them pull the permit, and then a final check by your zoning folks or code compliance folks.
We have discussed the process because of what happened here, and we will ensure there's some checks and balances and that several sets of eyes look at, we have plans examiners that look at the construction plans for compliance with the various codes. But then there's other elements that, such as this, about the building materials and other things. Okay. And landscaping is reviewed by somebody, but we'll ensure that there's adequate review and that we see these things early on.
All right, thank you.
Well, the landscaping was the other one that initially they had made commitments to, and then came back, and in my opinion, it was, I guess we approved it, but the berms are pretty odd looking in comparison to the other berms that were done around that area. So this thing's been snake bit from front to back, it looks like. So just an observation. Director Adcock.
Item number 32. I was just wondering how this one got so fast on coming back before us.
Item 32?
I'm very pleased it did, because I think it needs to be taken down, but I didn't think we'd be looking at it quite this fast.
Scott, do you have the pictures on this condemnation ordinance?
This is the one we looked at last week, Mayor, 2505 Maple. And Wednesday of last week, after we gave the man more time, he was out there Wednesday starting his rehabbing on it, and then I noticed that it's back on our agenda tonight.
I wasn't here, but they're telling me that the board deferred it for 2 weeks, so that's why it's on here.
Okay.
So we don't have the ability to, if you all defer it, it has to come back up at that time, and then.
Do we have an update on what he's done with staff?
Mr. Bernard.
I want to know if we have a plan of what he's presented.
And that's the update that I have, Director Adcock and board members. Mr. Willis did provide staff, he met with staff after the board meeting last week, and he did provide staff with what he considered a work plan, which is totally insufficient for what we would recommend to the board to consider extension. So our coach staff has reached out to Mr. Willis again, and I also reached out to him as well to tell him he needs to give us more information than what he provided.
Well, the fact that just a relative wants to move into, I don't think is enough of a plan.
Well, like I said, what he provided for us is not a viable work plan that we would recommend providing an extension.
So are you giving him a written work plan about what would be necessary?
That's what he's supposed to provide for us. So what he gave us basically says his company will meet with city building codes, pull permits, framing, plumbing, and electrical inspections in a timely manner, progress inspections to be done, and left his contact information said the funding of this project will be funded through a trust fund. Well, we want a little bit more than that. What stage, when are you going to complete the exterior? What's your time frame for that? When are you going to do the framing? What's your time frame for that? When are you going to do the electrical, plumbing? We need stages specifically to how he's going to progress with this rehab. And typically what we require, if he has a trust fund with a bank or someone, if this rehab is going to cost $30,000, we would at least like a letter from that bank saying there's enough funds in this account to cover that rehab. So we just don't feel like what he gave us is sufficient.
So are you giving him that information?
Yes, and that's why we reached out to him. He has yet to contact us back. Because after the initial meeting, this is what he provided, which is not sufficient.
Well, just if you would, make sure he knows that it's insufficient between now and next Tuesday, so that if he's going to meet those compliance issues, you've got something more specific. So if you'd reach out to him again, please.
That's our expectation.
Just so we don't come back here with, he'll show up on Tuesday and.
Say no one's told him anything.
Yeah, so. All right, Director Wyrick, you recognize, please.
Thank you. Item number 35. Tom, on this one, we're dissolving the sewer improvement district number 147.
Yes, ma'am.
And a few years ago, they tried to do that, and there was some money left over that needed to be returned, and we moved it over to the water district in that area. And the water district has been paid off now.
Right.
Because there was a huge levy of money to all the property owners out there for both these districts. It says in here that they're going to wind up their affairs, and if there's any money left, it's going to go to the Little Rock wastewater utility.
Any money left after they have contacted all the property owners and given the proportional share of the monies back to the property owners.
Okay.
They think that it's possible there may be $1,000 or $2,000 left over, but they think most all of it's going to go back to the property owners.
Okay. So if we pass this, does that
Yeah, we're getting ready.
does that mean we close the affairs of this district and the board's no longer involved?
Yes, ma'am.
But if there's money that they can't return to property owners, what happens to that?
That goes to Little Rock wastewater since the district facilities are now part of Little Rock wastewater.
Okay. I was hoping there might be lots of money and we could do some road improvements or something like that in the area.
This didn't come forward sooner because I suspected I would hear one member of the board say something like that and found out what they were doing specifically. And the word I got from the appraiser is, from the addresses they've got, they think there's only going to be $1,000 or $2,000 left over, which really is not a lot of money.
Okay, so are we closing this early then, do you think?
No. What happens is that the assessments for an improvement district go with the property and not with the property owner.
Okay.
And when property owners change, sometimes they don't get all their records together correctly, and they've got to make extra efforts to make sure they do that. The bonds are paid off, there's nothing more to collect, and they're ready to close the district, and it's already a part of the Little Rock sewer system, as I understand.
Okay. Initially, I think whenever they were going to do that, instead of sending it to the water district, they were going to turn it over to the city. And so the board agreed to divert the money to the water district. So that's the reason why I'm asking those questions. If there's any leftover money that they can't find the property owners for, I'm just wanting to know about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other questions about the agenda? All right, we finished with the agenda, and I'll look forward to seeing most of you, if not all of you, over at the Wyndham Hotel.